Run.
2024 gave us all kinds of horror movies, from the ones that left people shaking in fear to those that were just plain terrible. But I wanted to know, which ones were truly the scariest? Using global reviews and ratings, I found the 7 most terrifying movies of the year. I'll be counting them down from the lowest rated all the way to the #1 horror movie of 2024, and even be giving my personal re-ranking along the way. Starting at number 7 is the French horror movie, Mads. The movie follows a teenager who stops by his dealer to try a new drug before going to a party. But on his way home, he picks up an injured woman, and that's when things get really strange and scary. The movie is intense, but the suspense drops a bit near the end. Still, it earned a solid 93% on the tomatometer, which I think it deserves. If you're not familiar, tomatometer is a system that shows how well a movie is liked. A score of 90% or higher means both critics and audiences really liked it. Next up, at number 6, is a movie they intentionally made to be extremely hard to forget. At number 6, we have New Life. The movie is about a woman running away, trying to cross the Canadian border to escape her past. Chasing her is Elsa, a determined agent with a serious health problem who keeps falling one step behind. But as they moved into the mountains, things started getting really dark and people started dying tragically. Now, I'll be honest, this movie bored me to my bones. I didn't enjoy it at all, but somehow it scored a crazy 94% on the tomato meter. If it were up to me, I'd give it a 30% at best. Seriously, how did anyone enjoy this movie? And by the way, these aren't just highly rated horror movies of 2024. They're considered the best horror movies of the year by Rotten Tomatoes. Later in this video, we'll cover a movie that was so terrifying and entertaining that I thought for sure it would be #1 of the year, and will absolutely recommend it to anyone, to the acclaimed #1 horror movie of 2024. But before that, let's look at a movie where nothing actually happens in the way you'd ever expect. At number 5, we have Strange Darling. This movie is a true masterpiece. A one-night stand takes a really deadly turn, leading to a serial killer's brutal murder spree.
What the
It's intense, unpredictable, and scored an impressive 95% on the tomatometer, which I believe it deserves. But as impressive as this movie was, it still doesn't come close to the next on the list. A film far more haunting than anything I've talked about so far. At number 4, we have Inflames. What really made this movie stand out was how it didn't rely on jump scares or gore, but yet still managed to make people feel the essence of true terror. This film takes psychological horror to a whole new level, exploring a world where men control everything, and women are only allowed to exist if they are claimed or accompanied by men. The slow unraveling of reality, combined with gut-wrenching supernatural moments, makes this movie really emotionally draining. It's no surprise it was nominated for the Oscars and scored an impressive 95% on the tomatometer. But as great as it is, it still doesn't come close to the final movie on this list. A film that might forever make you scared of watching TV at night. But before that, let's talk about a movie that will forever change how you think about the pets you bring to your home. At number 3, we have Infested. First off, if you're scared of spiders, this movie might not be for you. It tells the story of a young man who unknowingly brought a venomous spider back to his apartment but doesn't realize. It starts reproducing rapidly, turning his entire building into a massive web trap. Honestly, I didn't want to watch this movie at first because it's in French. But when I did, I was really hooked and was almost impossible for me to look away. The way the characters made realistic decisions, reacting just like real people would in similar situations, was really impressive. The scares were truly intense and perfectly executed. It's no surprise the director was chosen to lead the next Evil Dead movie. The film scored an impressive 95% on the tomatometer. But do I think it deserved that score? Honestly, no. Don't get me wrong, the movie was good, but I don't think it's that good. I'd personally rate it closer to 60%. Now, let's look at a movie that was so incredible. I personally would have voted for it as the best horror movie of 2024. At number 2, we have Odylia.
door.
What do you want?
You went to the car to get something, you left this door open behind you. Somebody went inside.
This movie was so good, it deserves to be remembered as one of the most genuinely terrifying horror films in history. The storytelling was really brilliant. It follows a woman who uses haunted items as tools for revenge against those responsible for her twin sister's brutal murder. The unpredictability of the plot was what truly stood out. To me, this movie is a 100 out of 10. I don't care what the tomato meter or anyone else says. The actors' performances were flawless, blending seamlessly into the horror elements of the film. If you haven't seen it yet, you absolutely need to. I'm honestly shocked it only made it to number 2 this year. As much as I wish we'd get more horror movies of this caliber, the next film somehow managed to surpass it, with an incredible 97% score on the tomato meter, making it to become the #1 horror movie of 2024. I can't really say if it's worth the score, as I haven't seen it yet. At number 1, we have Late Night with the Devil.
Why would you hurt me like that, June? You know I can't help it.
I know. I never.